Hello everyone. This is our review part 2 for Unit 4, which will be on budgeting. Like the previous lesson, we're just going to start with a list of the things you need to know and be able to talk about on the test and do a couple examples. So here we go. Okay, so the first one is knowing costs associated with renting and or owning a home. Okay, right. A lot of them are very similar, right? Things like utilities, so water, electricity, gas, as in, heating gas, that sort of thing, right? And some are different, right? For renting a place, you have your rent, you may have to pay for parking, things like that. Okay, whereas for owning a home, you might have to pay house insurance, you have the mortgage. If you live in a condominium, there could be condo fees, right? There's more property maintenance type things. So you'd be able to, identify what's the cost of renting, what's the cost of owning a home. You need to be able to understand the difference between fixed and variable expenses. Okay, so knowing that things like, say, your rent or your mortgage payment are typically fixed because they're the same amount every time you pay them, while other things like, again, heat, electricity, water, food, right? Those things tend to be variable. They don't cost exactly the same week to week or month to month. You need to understand what's meant by a balanced budget. So if a question asks you to create a balanced budget, you need to make sure that the balanced part occurs, right? So again, what that means, if the budget is balanced, that means both the income and the expenses are the same. So your net or your balance is zero, okay? Which means, right, you're accounting for where all of the money goes, right? If you happen to have extra money left over, you have to put it somewhere, being like, just regular savings or maybe a vacation fund or, find a fun thing to do with it, right? You're going to do entertainment expenses. But you have to make sure that you've accounted for where all that money is going so that it equals out to zero at the end. Okay, you need to be able to create or interpret or adjust a budget. Okay, so again, on the test, right, like on the practice test, you'll be given a partial budget and have to figure out some of the details on there to balance it. Okay, or be asked, based on what you see in the budget, be asked questions and answer what's on the budget. Okay, you need to know what some of the guidelines are, right? And again, that's in a note from Friday last week. So just know kind of what the rough limits are for things, right? That, rental cost shouldn't be more than 35%. Try if you can to do at least 10% savings, but it depends on what the situation is. For personal things, no more than 25%, clothing, entertainment, that sort of thing. So you know what the rough guidelines are for setting up a budget. Okay, and the key one about mortgages, right, is to know that the maximum mortgage payment, right, you can have is based off of 32% of your gross income. Okay, so know that that is a rule. Okay, so we're going to do two examples here. The first one, the information is coming out of your textbook. Okay, so you can find it on page 483. So don't feel that you have to copy this part down, but we'll work through the calculations. Okay. So it needs to your college student. She has listed her income and expenses. So you can see the income is at the top. Okay, and all the expenses are there. Okay, use a spreadsheet to design a 2-paycheck monthly budget. Okay, we're not going to use a spreadsheet. We're just going to kind of itemize this right here and figure out what's going on. Okay, so we want to do this per month. So the first thing is to deal with the income. The income was given to us bi-weekly, so we're going to have to convert that to monthly. Okay, so the way we do that, right, is we're going to take the income, so 635. In order to convert it to monthly, we need to bring it up to a full year. So there are 26 in a year for biweekly. So that is 16,510. Okay, and then to bring it back to a month, we just divide that by 12. So 16,510 divided by 12 is equal to, okay, that rounds off to 1375 and 83 cents. Okay. So now we know what our monthly income is. I'm going to tidy this up now that I've written it down so I can keep the space. Okay, so there's my income in green. Okay, for the expenses, I'm just going to write those in red to keep track of that. So again, for things that are per month, that's pretty straightforward. For the things that are not, we're going to need to convert them. So for rent, it's $260 per month, which is pretty nice. Okay, gasoline is $50 per week. So it's going to be that same trick, right? We bring it up to a full year. So let's kind of write down the idea here. So that'd be times 52 to bring it up to a full year, and then divided by 12 to bring it back down to a month. So 52 12, $216.66, 67. Okay, car insurance is per month, so we've got that. Car maintenance, 25. Okay, groceries, it's per week, so same thing. And per month, that's $281.67. Okay, laundry. Is $43.33. Okay, school supplies, 30, clothes, 100, entertainment, $50 per week, which was the same as gas, so that would be $216.67. Okay, last but not least, for savings, we have 15% of our income. So our income there up in there in green was 1375. So we're going to multiply, right, 1375 83 times 0.15. That's $206.37. Okay. So now we need to take a moment and tally up all those expenses and see what the total of our expenses is going to be. So that comes to $1,473.71. So based on this budget, we are currently in the hole, right, about $100, right? Our income was $1375 and our expenses are $1473. And actually, if we work that out quickly here, okay, so currently, right, the balance of our budget is negative $97 $13.88. Okay, that's what we're short. So, all right, with 13.75.83 minus 14.73.71, that's negative $97.88. Okay, so right now it just said to design a budget. It didn't say it had to be balanced, so technically we'd be good here. Okay, but let's briefly talk about the balancing aspect. Right, if I wanted to balance this budget, that means I need to cut about $100, right? 97.88. Okay, so where could I cut that from? Would be the question. Well, we said it was about $100. So one place to look might be entertainment. Okay, you could cut back your entertainment. Okay, or maybe you could cut back the amount you spend on clothing. Now we wouldn't want to wipe that out completely, so maybe we could take a little bit of both, something like that. Right. The other expenses that are there, gifts. Okay, that's not huge. Um, Actually, I think I might have missed that in the list here. So there'd be another $30 that we're short. Okay, but yeah, these three areas are probably areas where we could manage to cut, right? Entertainment and gifts, okay, you could reduce that a bit, and that would help you get on target. Okay? Because right again, entertainment was quite big, right? 216.67. So maybe if we took entertainment down to $25 a week, okay, we'd be saving enough money there by itself. Okay, yeah, but that's basically how it is. You're right. You compare your income and expenses, and if you want it to be balanced, they would have to come to zero, right? You shouldn't have the same going in or out. Okay, our other example, referring back to mortgages, and we've done this problem a couple of times, right? What is the maximum mortgage allowed if your salary is $55,000 annually and you get a 30-year mortgage at 3.7%? So the first thing we need to do is figure out what our monthly salary is, and then the guideline is that it can be no more than 32% of your gross salary. So we're going to take our 55,000 and divide that by 12. So that is $4,583.33. Okay, and now I need to find 32% of that. Okay, is 1466.67. Okay, so the maximum mortgage we take on, right, is a little over $1,450. Okay. So now that we have that, we will go to the TVM solver to determine what the maximum mortgage would actually be. So like last time, we're going to need to use the advanced version of the calculator here because we're talking about a mortgage. Okay, this time we're looking for the present value. Okay, we know what our payment is. Our maximum payment is $1,466.67. $1,466.67. Okay, future value is 0 because we want to pay this off. Okay, our annual rate, that was 3.7%. Okay, for the periods, okay, that is 30 years, right, times 12 per year. So 30 times 12 is 360. Okay, that's per month. And then we're going to be compounding this annually. Sorry, semi-annually. Okay. So look at PV, and there you go. Okay, that is the maximum possible mortgage you can take on that salary, okay, which is a little over, or it's almost $320,000 per year. Okay, so that's our review of the budgeting side of this unit. So kind of like yesterday, here is some practice from the textbook. Okay, page 484, number 1 to 5, which are multiple choice, I think, mostly, and number 8, which is an actual budgeting question, kind of like the one we did in this note. Okay, or, of course, you've got the practice test, you've got the assignment to finish up. So lots you can work on. Thanks for watching, and good luck on the test.